I'm telling them that I can't breathe. Clearly he don't give a damn about my plea. His ancestors used to hang us on trees. Today they identify as road police. You see I'm black, for that I'm a threat to America. My rise is their fall and their fall is evident. Blood on your hands is heavier than an elephant. Open up America's closet and see skeletons.
This is Reignite Sandy Speaks, and I want to begin by thanking you for joining me. Today we're going to discuss Dr. Aysha Koury. Dr. Aysha Koury was terminated from her employment from Kaiser Permanente, a medical school, for hosting a discussion about racial inequities in medicine. She was actually invited to host a discussion. Subsequently, she was terminated. Also, we're going to do a follow-up on the killing of Quawan Charles, which is very vital. And I also am going to discuss the fact that racist Amy Cooper charges were dropped by the New York District Attorney. So again, if you don't know, this is Reignite Sandy Speaks, and just to do a follow-up and just to remind you, the purpose of Reignite Sandy Speaks is to document all the racial injustices that are happening in America. I'm not doing these videos to sensationalize the pain of Black people. Having these discussions are very traumatic for me. Reignite Sandy Speaks' goal is to document these racist activities, injustices, to create a list of those in authority who are violating Black people. That's short-term, the short-term goals. Long-term goals is to have a Civil Rights Act or an update to the Civil Rights Act where Black people are considered a protected class. I've talked about that before, and I'll discuss it more. But ultimately, these videos are to do a compare and contrast as to how Black people are treated opposed to non-Black people. And again, I have a goal. The goal is to have Black people deemed as a protected class, to have an updated Civil Rights Act with verbiage, text that is deliberate and specific about the protection of Black people. And again, I'm not doing this to sensationalize the pain of Black people. Okay? We all have this thorn. And when we hear these stories and we read about these things and we experience these things, it's like the thorn that the white power structure has injected in us. It's like we don't want them to touch it. We want to shelter and cover it. My goal is to pull out that thorn, ultimately, and to do so through the legal process. So, yeah. So that's So again, I really want to be adamant about that, because what happens is I see a lot of different coverage about what's happened, about injustices to Black people. But I'm saying to myself, okay, so what are we going to do about it? So Reignite Sandy Speaks is to document these occurrences, to create a list of those who are violating us, to see if they have a history or a trend of violating us, and ultimately to free us from bondage in the form of changing of the laws. So again, okay, I'm going to start with discussing Dr. Aysha Koury. Dr. Koury, I hope I'm pronouncing your name properly. But Dr. Koury is a professor who worked for Kaiser Permanente and School of Medicine. And she was asked to host a discussion about the racial inequalities in medicine. And she did what she was asked to do. Someone complained, and subsequently, Dr. Koury lost her job. I'm upset and I'm angry about this. And I am hoping that you all will help me rally behind Dr. Cooper in her goals and objectives of getting justice. But one of the main things also I want to do is bring awareness to this, because what I need you to know is this is one story that you guys have heard about. And what I know are the hundreds of stories that are happening every day. You're not being told. Just like Quawan Charles, you know, they're trying to sweep Amy Cooper under the rug. Dr. Aysha Koury is a physician, a professor. She spent her life doing the right thing. She went to college. She got a graduate degree. She became a doctor. Not only did she become a doctor, she became a professor to teach other doctors. And because someone didn't like something she said or did, her whole career has been ruined. I don't want to say it was ruined, because hopefully she'll bounce back from it. But the point that I'm trying to make to you guys is that what happens is we hear about black men being murdered by the police. And it's a big to-do about that. And I'm not trying to minimize that. And the primary reason why we only know about that, because these civil rights attorneys are making millions off of these black men being murdered. But black women are being victimized every single day. And no one hears about it. No one knows about it. And no one cares about it. And I am appalled about what happened to Dr. Aysha Koury. And if you guys know who I am, if you watch my other videos, I'm trying to let you guys know this goes on in California every day. This is business as usual in the state of California. I don't know much about Dr. Aysha Koury's background, but my understanding is she's from Atlanta, from Georgia. And what probably occurred, they asked her to do something, and she, like she did, probably has done everything else in her life, gave them what they asked for. And she probably was very deliberate and specific about what happens to black people in medicine, our medical care. We know about Susan Moore, her treatment in the hospital. And also, you know what? I want to talk about this really briefly about my own personal experience. When I had my daughter, Kaiser Permanente, I don't know if it's outside of, if Kaiser is held outside of California, but Kaiser Permanente is a medical facility, and I think it's considered like managed care in California. And California has a program for California residents for parents that are in a specific income range, where we pay a specific amount monthly, and we get this managed care for pregnancies. And I went through that in California with my daughter. And so I went to Kaiser. And I want to say to you that my treatment was horrific. It was horrific. Every time I went to the doctor, I saw a different doctor who knew nothing about me, my position, my care. I had a difficult pregnancy. I had, I think it's called gestation diabetes, I think, at the time. I had a lot of different things occur. And I want to say this to you about Kaiser Permanente. I want to point this out from my own personal experience. And you guys know I was married to an abusive white alcoholic. So I had, and I probably told you guys this in my other videos about my situation, but when I went into labor with my daughter, I had some issues for the last couple of weeks before my labor. Okay, and Kaiser were passing me around. They actually contracted me to go to a different doctor, a different hospital, because of my issues. And what I'm saying to you is that I didn't get adequate care during my pregnancy, during a troubled pregnancy. And ultimately what happened, I ended up going to the hospital alone. My drunk husband showed up towards the end. In the delivery room, there was an issue with my daughter. What happened was my daughter started her bowel movement early while she was still inside me, and so it was meconium in the she ate the marconium or something like that. I'm not saying it right, but she, to doctors, you understand what I'm saying. She had a bowel movement inside me, so it was an issue with her ingesting the feces. And so my daughter was in distress. And I want to tell you, when I went in this labor room, in the delivery room, for 78 hours, I had horrific treatment, okay? They kept changing doctors. They kept telling me conflicting issues about my situation. My drunk white husband comes in drunk. The nurse actually put him out because he was drunk. And then when I went and had my labor, I'm going to tell you guys this, and I didn't even realize what was happening. My cousin told me afterwards what they did was illegal. She had a problem and she was in distress, so her heart rate was going really very slow. They bound me. They put my arms and my legs in constraints. I'm stressed, scared. I didn't even realize what they were doing. I'm thinking when they're binding me, it's for medical issues. I was having a C-section. They bound my hands and arms. Okay? And I told you, my white husband was so horrific. He was so nasty and distant in the labor room and delivery room. One of the nurses came and she was rubbing my head while my drunk husband made me feel like it was my fault that my baby was in distress. And the fact that they bound my hands and arms. I just wanted to share that because this happened to Dr. Aysha Koury through Kaiser Permanente Medical School. And again, I don't know Dr. Koury's background, but I know she didn't anticipate this happening. Dr. Koury, welcome to California. And you guys, I keep telling y'all, California is a racist state. Being racist is the culture. You guys, when you hear about the stories about the insurrection, see how many people participated in the insurrection of the Capitol who were from the state of California. So, let me get back on track about Dr. Koury. Okay, I want to further discuss Dr. Aysha Koury. And Dr. Koury, I hope I'm saying your name properly. I want to highlight her situation, and I want to also ask you guys to help me rally behind Dr. Koury. Again, I want you guys to be clear. I want to state she was asked to head a discussion about the inequities in medical care for Black people. She did what she was asked. I don't know if someone complained or what actually transpired. She was suspended, and then her contract was not renewed. And Black people, I am going to ask you, I am going to beg you to please pay attention to what I'm saying. Please pay attention to Reignite Sandy Speaks. Because what I know is that we're blessed to the fact that we are able to hear about her story. First of all, the powers that be are not interested in hearing about Black women. Not only that, it is difficult and it is an emotional strain to let the world know that this happened to you. It is an embarrassment. This is a doctor who probably worked hard her entire life to be where she is. And why I'm angry, that it is unfair. And it is why we remain in bondage, that the white power structure has the power and the ability to disrupt this woman's life so easily. Unfair is an understatement. She said, I heard about her story on Roland Martin Unfiltered. And praise God for Roland Martin Unfiltered to tell the stories that the white media refuses to talk about. Okay? He's not talking about mess like the lady with the Gorilla Glue in her hair. He's talking about real stories, how we are being violated and continue to be violated. And so, I want to focus on Dr. Koury's, what she feels and thinks emotionally. You guys have to understand how hard it must be, how embarrassing it is that this happened to her. But she's willing to tell her story. She's willing to tell her story because she expects us to do something to make a difference. I really need to be less emotional and more matter of fact about these videos that I do, but I have a hard time because it's wrong. It's hurtful. Do you guys understand that this lady did what they asked her to do and then they fired her? Do you guys understand that her life has been turned upside down? Then someone asked her about, is she going to file a lawsuit? And what was her word? She said that she found that justice is difficult and expensive. Difficult and expensive. And so what do we do about justice being difficult and expensive? We rally behind her. We rally behind her. I can't say that enough. Dr. Aysha Koury, I'm so sorry that this happened to you. If I can be of any assistance to help you tell your story, discuss what happened, if I can be of any assistance, I am here and I'm available. And Black people, if you are watching this video, if you watch any of my videos, I really need you to be accountable. I need you to show up. So I'm not asking you to go out and protest and march. I'm asking you to subscribe to my channel, comment, share the story. We have to make a difference. We have to demand that there's changes in the laws. And we can do that. I'm going to discuss that further at the end of this video. Now I want to talk about the killing of Quawan Charles. The killing of Quawan Charles. Okay, now I want to discuss the killing of Quawan Bobby Charles. We all know about the young 15-year-old boy who was found badly beaten in the sugarcane field. And for several months, nothing came of it. He was last seen with this woman, Janet Irving, who was recently charged for not reporting a missing child. Some BS. You know, you guys, it's really hard for me to discuss this and try to discuss it intelligently. I'm going to link below an interview with the family's attorney, an interview from Roland Martin. A lot of my information I get from Roland Martin Unfiltered. Praise God for Roland Martin Unfiltered. Bring us the facts about all these inequities and injustices that are happening in America. And so on Roland Martin Unfiltered, the attorney comes on and talks about how he was missing for over 48 hours or something like that before they even start to look for him, that the police didn't take it seriously, that someone still hasn't been charged with his murder, that his autopsy says that he drowned. And you guys, let me tell you something. I don't even appreciate discussing this in this manner because it's BS. You know, I'm not going to play this game that America plays. Somebody murdered that little boy. Someone murdered him, beat him, and murdered him. And no one cares. Okay? Again, the interview is linked below so you can look and see the specifics that the attorney talks about, and he discusses it intelligently and specifically as to the nature of the issues with the case. What I'm saying to you, Black people, that they continue to do this to us because they can. They do this to us because they can. If you are a Black person and you are listening to this video, you're watching this video, you're watching all the other videos about the murdering and the shooting of Black people, and you don't think that you should do anything, you should make an effort to change, brothers and sisters, you'll have a problem. They do this to us because they can. Please understand that I know it's painful. I know it's hurtful. But what I know is that we can make a difference. See, I get excited about it because I'm ready to free us from bondage. Just like Dr. Koury said, justice is difficult and expensive. This is America. And you can do and be whatever you want to do and be in America. You just got to work smarter and harder. And I'm with it. But I can't do it by myself. I don't want to go get too deep in the mentality of Black people where we have to take accountability. I'm hesitant because you guys, honestly, I get offended and I get emotional, and it's very hard for me to continue calmly. And I don't want to offend anybody. I don't want to make you mad. I don't want to make you angry. I don't want you to turn away from my videos. I want to show you and tell you that my goal is to free us from bondage. These issues with like Quawan Charles, Elijah McClain, Breonna Taylor, Dr. Curry, Susan Moore, and when I name all these people, these things, I guaranteed you this is a percentage, a fraction of a percent of what's actually happening in America. And so you might be interested in rallying behind me and helping me because you have been a victim of something very dire and like severe. So you understand that it can happen to anyone. But why I want you to rally behind me and help me make change is because you love Black people. Because you love Black people, and we deserve more and we deserve better. And I want to say this to you, okay? I know it's not going to be easy. I know it's going to take a lot of challenges, and we're going to have some wins and some losses and some losses, okay? Because, it's been too long, y'all. It's been 400 years, and they still murdering us, killing us. Dr. Aysha Koury lost her job based on doing something she was asked to do. Quawan Charles was beaten, murdered. He's a 15-year-old little boy, and no one is being held accountable. Then they want to insult our intelligence and say he drowned in a foot of water when he was beat. Let me put his face on here so y'all can see. This is hard for me, but I need to put his face on here. This is what they did to this little boy. I'm not comfortable sharing this photo. But what you need to understand, Black people, that could be your brother, your sister, your uncle, your child. If you're watching this video and you think that this can't happen and you're immune from this, then that's the problem. Every day, we always experience some sort of discrimination or racism. And you might kind of feel like it's minimal and it's just, business as usual in America. No. We deserve more and we deserve better. And I guarantee you, I promise you, we can get better. We can change this. But all hands have to be on deck. That means I'm asking you to subscribe to my channel. This is a work in progress. My goal is to identify these occurrences, to demonstrate, compare, and contrast other occurrences. So in the case of Quawan Charles, it's my understanding that the same thing, something similar happened in the same parish with a white girl when she was missing, what the police did to find this girl. We do compare and contrast. Because see, what we're saying is America hates Black people. What we're saying is Black people are not treated equally in America. And it's our right to be treated equally. So in order to have justice and to ensure equality, we need to be considered a protected class. And we're going to do that by identifying all these occurrences, compare and contrast similar situations where there were non-Black people involved, and how the law or the powers that be treated the situation differently. We all know what it is. They hate Black people. They hate Black people, and they want to keep us bounded, and they want to keep us depressed and in bondage. But Black people, you're too good. You're too special. You deserve more. And I love you. And I'm willing to give you my entire life so we can live in harmony and have peace and not worry about our sons driving cars out to go see their friends. Not worry about something happening to our daughters, finding our daughters murdered in luggage. Our pregnant daughters murdered in luggage, dead in luggage. I hadn't talked about that. I'm gonna have to leave that for a different discussion. But yeah, I'm angry. I'm disappointed, and I'm looking for change. What leads me to Amy Cooper. We're gonna talk about Amy Cooper and how Amy Cooper, the charges were conveniently dropped by the district attorney in New York City when Amy Cooper purposely tried to report a black man for something, a crime or harassment, when she was the one actually not following the law. Yeah, have you guys heard Amy Cooper's, the charges against Amy Cooper was dropped by the district attorney in New York City. Okay, so if you haven't heard, charges have been dropped on the Central Park Karen, Amy Cooper. We all know who Amy Cooper was. Amy Cooper was a woman who blatantly called the police on a black man who was bird watching in Central Park. And you guys, this is very important because what I'm trying to show you, Reignite Sandy Speaks is demonstrating how the white power structure victimize, malign, and oppress black people. Okay? And I'm documenting these cases again to do a contrast and compare. In the case of Amy Cooper, let's compare her and contrast her against Jussie Smollett. They came for Jussie Smollett. Lee Daniels lost his show because of what was supposed to happen or what Jussie Smollett was supposed to do in terms of reporting false information. Lee Daniels had a show, Empire and Star. Star was my joint, y'all. I ain't gonna even lie. Star was my joint. I like Empire, but Star was my joint. He lost both those shows. And I'm confident they were directly related to the situation with Jussie Smollett. Amy Cooper calls the police erroneously, illegally, falsely on a black man who was bird watching. And the charges are dropped against her. And I'm going to say this to you. I'm going to find this on this article. It says the prosecutor, Joan Aluzzi Arbon, if I'm saying her name right, Joan Aluzzi Arbon, I'll write her name down here, is the prosecutor, said Miss Cooper had participated in 5 therapy sessions that focused important on how racial identity shaped people's lives. Her therapist had reported that the sessions were a moving experience and that Miss Cooper learned a lot. Miss Aluzzi Arbon said. Miss Aluzzi, this is a district attorney, okay? This is the head prosecutor in New York City. Joan Aluzzi Arbon asked that the judge drop the charges against Amy Cooper. In what universe does the district attorney ask for charges to be dropped? In what universe? In America, when it's a white person who is in litigation or conflict with a black person, and then our life doesn't matter. It's a joke. Black lives matter. Yeah, I am angry. I'm disappointed. I'm appalled. But I'm Reignite Sandy Speaks is documenting and demonstrating. Again, Roland Martin talked about Amy Cooper in length. I'm gonna link all the Roland Martin's videos below so you can see, because he goes into detail about these situations. And I don't want to minimize what occurred and what happened. I am not here to sensationalize our pain. I'm here to free us from bondage. And we are going to do it intelligently and methodically. We're going to hold these people on the carpet for what they do. Let me say this to you. Joe Biden is the president. And if you don't know, the deciding factor were black people. Black men and women was the deciding factor. Okay? So it's early on in his serving as the president. He has 4 years. And we are going to hold him accountable for creating change, for doing what we need to do to free us from bondage. See, you guys, I don't really want to get too aggressive or emotional, but we're not living a harmonious, happy life. And what concerns me is that many of you don't think that it can ever happen. You have to think it before you achieve it. And black people, it's time to free us from bondage. And all these things that are happening, COVID, 2020, us being home when they murdered George Floyd, us being home when they murdered Elijah McClain, us being home when they murdered Breonna Taylor, because it's time. Everything happens in divine order. Black people, I am saying to you, I need you to show up. I need you to subscribe, because I'm not here again to sensationalize the pain of black people. I can only imagine how I know what it feels like. My sister told me, I was telling her about the officer who committed suicide, Officer Kerr. She didn't even know about it. She's like, girl, I didn't know about it. She said, Tony, I can't take no more. She said, I watched Judas and the Black Messiah. It almost took me out. Black people, we don't deserve to live like this. We don't have to live like this. If you want change, if you want to go look for a job and be treated equally, if you want to have a job and be treated equally, if you want to drive down the street and if you happen to do a traffic violation and the police stop you, you want to make sure you're treated equally and fairly like they would a white person. When you're going through a divorce with a white person, you want to make sure you're being treated equally. It's time. Pull up. I'm here to create change. I'm not here for likes, clout, to sensationalize the pain of black people. I'm here to rally black people together to say, if you want change, if you want this to stop, y'all gonna have to pull up. And I guess you're saying, well, what do you want us to do? I want you to subscribe and listen to my story. I want you to comment. If you have a similar story, I want you to share your story. Because see, what I know is that we only hear a fraction or probably a percent of what happens to black people every day. People walk away and forget it and they just let it go. It's time for change, y'all. I'm ready. If you're ready, I'm going to ask you to pull up. See, I'm ready to chastise you and talk to you, because it's different groups of black people that I want to talk to. I want to talk to middle-class people, professional people who know better, who live a great life, but you're still at risk of what happened to Dr. Aysha Koury to happen to you, to happen to the bird watcher in Central Park. It can happen to any one of us. And I'm asking you to be proactive and help me make change. Please, help me make change. I'm going to link the videos from Roland Martin, because he goes into depth about the different situations. But I want to bring them to your attention, because I think Reignite Sanity Speaks to Purpose is to document these occurrences. And as we go on, as we grow, we're going to go back and discuss these people. We're going to make a list. I'm going to actually write the list in the description of who's on the list. The list of the people who violated us. We're going to have an ongoing list. So, and the purpose of the list is to identify them. So if someone else sees this video and they had an encounter with the same department, person, entity that violated them, that we have an ongoing documentation of what they did. I'm here to make change. And I need your help. I'm begging you to come help me. Please help me. Okay, you guys, I'm about to wrap this up. But again, my name is Tony. If you don't know about me, this is Reignite Sandy Speaks. And what prompted me to do this was my own injustice. I don't know if you know, but I'm in a hotel room. I have been in a hotel room since September 23rd. I was married for 23 years to a white male who makes over $180,000. Through our divorce, 3 racist judges maligned me, did not provide spousal support for me. They stole my home. They had 4 rogue sheriffs break in my house and make me move illegally. They took my home and they sold my home. I don't even know. I have hundreds of thousands of dollars worth of property and I don't even know where it is. Okay? This is what prompted me to do this channel, the treatment of 3 racist judges just based on I'm a black person. And what prompted me to talk about Dr. Aysha Koury is that she has a legal suit that she can do against Kaiser Permanente for what they did to her. And what she said was, justice is difficult and expensive. And I understand that oh so well. And you know, I really hate to make this comparison because I'm not a racist and I don't even like contrast and compare. But black people, I need you to understand, if any of these things happened to a Jewish person, if any one of these things had happened to a Jewish person, it would have been shut down immediately. These things wouldn't happen to a Jewish person because they have fear, because they rally together. Okay? And so I know that we can rally together. I know it's going to take time and effort for me to sit here and make these videos and encourage you to pull up, share my video, and to help me create change. I have a GoFundMe. I'm going to link it below. I am trying to hold these 3 racist judges accountable for what they did to me. And I think my situation is a starting point. If you help me hold these 3 racist judges accountable, cases like Aysha Koury, Aysha Koury. Her name is Aysha Koury. It's like the basketball player's wife. It's Aysha. It's Aysha Koury. You guys, you know I butcher up names. Her name is Dr. Aysha Koury. If I'm saying your name wrong, Dr. Koury, please correct me. I apologize. I'm horrible with names. But my GoFundMe is below, and the purpose of my GoFundMe is to create real change, because how they continue to malign us is because our economic disadvantage, and we can pull together and we can make change. If you have any questions about my sincerity, about my intentions, leave a message, comment me, find me on Instagram or wherever. What I need is help. It's so many different stories and so many different things that are happening. And I want to address them all. Like with the Dr. Koury issue, when she said that justice was difficult and expensive, I thought, what can I do to help? What can we do to get justice for her? Because this is the thing. Black people, if they knew they could not do this to us, if they knew that as soon as we saw a report about black people being maligned, murdered, terminated illegally, if they knew that we will all get together, hold hands and join together to call them on the carpet, they wouldn't be so quick to do this. I don't know if I said it in another video because I remember saying this before. One of the girls that I am on Instagram with, she said when Donald Trump was acquitted from, when he was acquitted, like, how could he be acquitted? She was like, I want to leave America. I want to, no. He was acquitted because they get down together. He was acquitted because they rock together. What do you think the Capitol insurrection was? So what am I saying? I tell this whole story and land the plane, Tony. I need you to show up. If you are a black person, I need you to show up. If you a middle class black person, if you are a blue collar black person, if you live in a hood black person, whatever the case might be. You guys, thanks for listening to this video. Please subscribe and share. If you have any stories that you want to share with me or have me discuss or talk about, please leave a comment or contact me on my email, which is listed on the about on this channel, or find me on Instagram. This is Sandy Speaks.
They killing us for walking, killing us for jogging, kill us in our homes and fabricating and hiding. Where we had Sandra Bland's and Trayvon Martin's. If when you kill us, your family was a target. If your children was orphans, where you had compassion and next time you approach us, yeah, we fed up, this is built up. Your city up in smoke, homeboy, we had enough. And I ain't Tyson, riots of violence heighten the climate. I'm saying you smack me, I'm punching you in your iris. Retaliation is prescribed in both Bible and Quran. In the matters of the slang, see an eye for an eye, especially if the Justice Department do not comply.